Hi everyone, Zach here. Welcome back to the channel. So I've been receiving a lot of questions during the live streams and also even in some comments in some of the videos, saying, Zach, can you do something on proof of stake versus proof of work, right? There's kind of two big models. Of course, the older model, the proof of work model, and it's worked for a long time. Obviously, it's worked for Bitcoin. It's worked for some other important assets, but we're going to get into some of the differences between proof of stake, proof of work, kind of how we got here as well, and then talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of both throughout the video. So if you're going to get some value out of this, if you know it already, make sure you smash the like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and maybe you have to wait a little bit longer in the video to see if you get some value, then you can smash the like button then. But welcome back, and anybody new here, welcome to the community. We're building out a community that cares about one another, all about constant growth, of course, in crypto and stocks, but really all about constant growth in all facets of life. So that's what we're here to do on this channel. If you're new here, welcome to the community. So let's talk about Bitcoin for a minute, because when Nakamoto was building the first ever cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, he had to find a way for transactions to be verified without a third party, right? Because that is the premise of DeFi. Decentralized finance, DeFi, is this transaction without a third party, right? It's peer-to-peer. It's person-to-person, right? Without the need of a third party. So he achieved this through the proof of work system, okay? Now, essentially, proof of work is used to determine how the blockchain reaches a consensus, which basically is a verifiable process, right? To verify, because usually that happens through a third party, but we don't have that with DeFi, right? So how can the network be sure that the transaction is actually valid and that someone isn't trying to do bad things, someone isn't trying to, hack data, right? Any kind of cyber attacks, those type of things, such as spend the same funds twice. That's another common thing that was a scare as Bitcoin was being developed. So proof of work is based on an advanced form of mathematics called cryptography. So this is why digital coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum are called cryptocurrencies, right? So proof of work is this older model. It's kind of, big because we wouldn't have got here without it. But now we're starting to see that the proof of stake model, which we'll get into in a little bit, might be a better path forward in terms of transaction time, terms of efficiency, in terms of eco-friendliness, right? So basically, how does the proof of work system work? It's using mathematical equations that are so difficult that only powerful computers can solve them. So there's no equation that's ever the same, meaning that once it is solved, the network knows that this transaction is authentic because there's only one equation, right, related to that particular transaction. Now, there's lots of other blockchains who've copied the original Bitcoin code system, also using this proof of work model. Because Bitcoin has been around so long, there's been a lot of adopters to the proof of work model because it has been shown to work. Now, why are we getting into the proof of stake model? We'll get there, promise. If you're getting some value already here, smash the like button. But only does it need significant amounts of electricity, but it not only does it need significant amounts of electricity, but it also is very limited in the number of transactions it can process at the same time. Well, as crypto is getting more and more popular, we need to be able to enhance that number of transactions that can be processed at the same time, right? Now, this might have been fine way back in 2012, 2013. The proof of work model worked pretty well. So other consensus mechanisms now have been created. Insert the proof of stake model. Proof of stake was first created back in 2012, but by two developers, Scott Nadal and Sonny King. Now, it took a long time for it to actually launch and be adopted though, right? But initially kind of created in 2012, they had to work out a lot of the kinks. The first ever blockchain project using the proof of stake was PeerCoin. The initial benefits included fairer and more equal mining system, right? More scalable transactions and less reliance on electricity. So again, more eco-friendly, right? But what do they mean when they say fairer and more equal mining system? Well, the proof of work model runs off this model where everybody's trying to compete to come up with this equation first, right? And that's how miners are rewarded. Now, the proof of stake system, much different than that. So as a result, the world's most second popular cryptocurrency, Ethereum, is in the process of attempting to move from proof of work to proof of stake, because Ethereum was built on the proof of work model, okay? Now, the Ethereum proof of stake date is yet to be confirmed for Ethereum, but we think it's going to be rolled out in 2022, perhaps 2023. I'm currently staking my ETH and I'm waiting until that Ethereum 2.0 is rolled out. In doing that, I'm earning 6% over on Coinbase. I have a video on that as well. You can go back and check that out on the channel. So these are the basics. Now, let's talk about PAL and POS adoption. So proof of work, the Bitcoin blockchain, right? That's the most obvious starting point. Every time a transaction is sent, it takes about 10 minutes on the Bitcoin blockchain for the network to confirm it. Now, it can only handle about 7 transactions per second. So it takes 10 minutes for a single transaction, and it can only handle 7 per second. You can see why this could be an issue now that more and more people are in the crypto space, right? This has led to transaction fees increasing significantly from when the project first started in 2009. For example, Bitcoin fees initially cost a very small fraction of a cent, okay, which made the network pretty useful, right? But now, as you'll see the chart below, this has increased as much as $40 per transaction during its busiest period in 2017. And now we're even seeing more traffic on the Bitcoin blockchain here in 2021. Now, these fees have been reduced a little bit since then, since 2017, but they're still way too high, not suitable for a global payment system. Now, will it still be a place where, you know, it'll be like digital gold? It'll be an asset that you can, you know, hold like you do with gold? Probably, yeah, that's probably the most common outcome for Bitcoin. Now, most of these issues are mainly due to the limits of proof of work, right? So Ethereum also uses proof of work currently. They're interested in going to proof of stake. Now, the developers made a few changes to the original code, which allow the network to process transactions in just 16 seconds. Although this isn't the fastest, it's a lot quicker than 10 minutes it takes on Bitcoin. So they did improve on the work proof of work model that Bitcoin set forward, but they're still seeing that the proof of stake model could be the best. So the scalability issues that proof of work has caused Bitcoin and Ethereum a big problem. The maximum amount of transactions that the Ethereum blockchain can process is 15, which again, better, right? Better than the 7 for Bitcoin, but still not great. So a lot of other blockchains using the proof of work, they're changing the type of algorithm which supports the transaction validation process, okay? So a couple others that use the proof of work, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, which has kind of been coined as Bitcoin Silver, as Bitcoin is gold and Litecoin is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. On the other hand, some really popular cryptocurrencies now use proof of stake. One is Dash, which allows users to send and receive funds in just a couple of seconds. Another is Neo. The Chinese smart contract protocol has had an amazing journey since it was first launched in 2016. So now that we know a little bit of the proof of work and the proof of stake, let's get into it a little bit more here. Proof of work. So in terms of how they're verified, we mentioned that transactions take 10 minutes before they're confirmed. Well, in each 10-minute interval, something called a new block is created. So every 10 minutes, a new block is created. That's why it's taking so long. Now, every block contains different transactions within it, which must be independently verified. That's why it takes so long, right? Once this is achieved, not only is the transaction marked as valid, but it's also posted to the public blockchain for everybody to view. You might be wondering why somebody would buy hardware and consume lots of electricity just to help confirm Bitcoin transactions. Well, they're rewarded with additional Bitcoin in doing so for their efforts. So these are the individuals who are doing this, right? Thousands of individual devices all compete to become the first, right? We mentioned this a little bit ago, to solve the cryptographic algorithm. When they do, they get the reward. So that's how the proof of work system is working, okay, right now. It's not a very fair system though, right? Because those with the most powerful and expensive hardware devices are going to be the ones who win those rewards, right? So moving on, because of this, the cryptographic puzzle is created. The only way that it could be solved is by using trial and error, right? And again, it's not fair because people who have the larger hardware can, you know, do this much quicker and earn those rewards, reap those benefits. So we scroll down here and we take a look at proof of stake. So on the proof of stake model, this uses a completely different process, right? The system will still uses a cryptographic algorithm, but the objective changes, okay? Now, proof of work rewards its miner for solving those complex equations. In proof of stake, it's a little bit different. The individual that creates the next block is based on how much they have staked, right? To make things simple for you, the stake is based on the number of coins the person has for the particular blockchain they are attempting to mine. For instance, a lot of people are staking their Cardano or staking their Ethereum. This is where this comes into play. So individuals aren't mining, okay? Technically, they're not mining. Instead, they're called forgers because there is no block reward. While Bitcoin uses the proof of work model, awards a block reward every time a new block is verified. Those who contribute to the proof of stake simply earn the transaction fee, okay? So to validate transactions for the Dash network, which is already using proof of stake, you'd be required to stake and freeze a minimum of 1,000 Dash coins. During the cryptocurrency's all-time high in December 2017, Dash reached more than $1,500 a coin. It would have cost the real world equivalent to $1.5 million. So assuming you have staked the required minimum, your chances of winning the reward, which would be the transaction fees, is linked to the total percentage of coins you hold. So you decide, here's an example. You decide you want to stake coins to earn some proof of stake rewards. Blockchain has a total of 1,000 coins. Your purchase and stake, you purchase and stake 100. This means you have staked 10%. You now have a 10% chance of winning every reward, okay? So just to kind of wrap it all up here, proof of work requires all of its miners to attempt to solve a complex sum. It's really not a fair process. It's not really great on the environment because it's taking too long. With the winner determined by the person who is the most powerful and has the most, handy hardware devices, right? Now, the proof of stake model randomly chooses a winner based on the amount they have staked. So you may have a 10% chance, you may have a 20% chance, 30% chance, but people who are forging all have a chance to be that winner. So that's kind of how that works, the breakdown. Now, one last thing before we get out of here, the most important theory supporting the proof of stake consensus mechanism is those who stake are going to want to help keep the network secure by doing things correctly. If a forger attempted to hack the network or process malicious transactions or twice, then they would lose their entire stake. So they're not incentivized to do that at all whatsoever. They want to be a part of that system and have a chance to reap those benefits and win those rewards. So hopefully this helps. If you found some value here in this video versus talking about proof of stake versus proof of work, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and guys, I'll see you in the next video.